Okay, this is the pattern for the Easy Crochet headband. You're going to start by chaining 9 stitches. You'll chain 3 more stitches for a total of 12. You're going to then do a slip stitch through the 9th stitch. Chain 3 more. Slip stitch through that stitch number 6. Chain 3 more. Slip stitch through stitch number 3, chain 3 more, slip stitch through your first stitch. You'll then chain 3 more, slip stitch around the center stitch of this first arch that you just made. Chain 3 more, slip stitch around this arch, chain 3 more, slip stitch around the arch, chain 3 more, slip stitch through the tiny, it's not going to be as full of an arch because it's where that first loop around was. Just go through that loop, not through any of the stitches. Slip stitch one, again, chain 3 more and begin again. You're going to slip stitch around the last arch you just did, and then we're going to continue this pattern. You're going to chain, 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 slip stitch around this. Chain, 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 slip stitch around this. Chain, 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 slip stitch through the small arch here at the end. Your arches in the middle are going to be quite easy to find. The ones on the edge might be slightly harder. Yeah. Alright, so you remember how to make the slip stitch. Cross it, and then just pull that up through and it makes that loop. Remember? Cross it, pull it up through, makes the loop. The loop on your hook, this is called your tail, this is called your working yarn, and remember we're going to grab, hold it, grab that yarn and pull it through. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, notice how I moved my finger because otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep that taut anymore. Every few stitches I will move these 2 grasping fingers up some. That was 9, so here's 10, 11, 12. Time for our first turn. Just going to go through any one of the holes in this stitch is fine. Go through, grab that yarn, pull it through that, pull it through that. You've now hooked on the loop that you just made right here. That's going to be where we're going to hook on to when we start coming back and forth across. So we chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Stitch 6, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Go through any loop on that stitch and pull it through again. Chain again. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go through stitch number 3, which is right here. Through that. Grab that yarn and pull it through, and then pull it right on through that loop. And then 1, 2, 3. And then back through that first stitch. Pull it through there, pull it through there. 1, 2, 3. Now from this point you're not going to go through the stitch anymore, you're just going to go through the loops. There's your first loop, your second loop, your third loop, and down here on the end is a small loop. Okay? So you're going to go stick your needle through the whole big hole, grab that through, and pull it through there. 1, 2, 3, through there, grab it. 1, 2, 3. Through here, grab it. 1, 2, 3. There's the smaller loop that makes up the end. Through there and grab it, back through. 1, 2, 3. Turn it over. Okay, now here's your next set of arches. You have 3 nice big arches and 1 squinchy one at the end. We just chained 3, so back through here and then through that. 1, 2, 3. Through that one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And remember, the arch on the end is a little bit harder, but it's still very obvious. 3. Okay, I'm about finished with this sample here, but let me show you. Remember, if you leave this flopping down, you're not going to have good control over it. So use this thumb and either your 4th or middle finger to grab with. The question of which direction to pull it around, I prefer to take my needle like this and grab it and pull it through. Some other people hold their needle differently, and honestly it kind of depends on what stitch. But for this it seems to work very well to go like this, grab it, pull it through and through that, and then your 3 chains through here, grab your working yarn, pull it through, and then 3 chains. Okay, alright. Remember as you work to stop and stretch it, because it works up quite closed, but when you stretch it, it opens up. Alright, so at this point we're going to say that we're finished. When you're finished, you're going to come across one last time. You're doing good. Yes, Josie's having fun in the bouncer. Yes. Okay. Go through that. Do not make your last, don't make the chains. Just come through and slip through that one. Now, square this off. That's your starting point. That's the first corner. Here's this loop. Here's this corner. And line up your corners. Now you could cut off this yarn and do it with a darning needle. I never know where there's a darning needle in my house. Pick any stitch up here, go through it, grab your yarn, come back through both of them. Any stitch along up here, and any stitch right across from it on the other side, come back through, come through both of those. Alright, so I'm picking any random stitch across here, I'm coming across to this back edge, going through any stitch. Pulling it through, I have 2 loops, I'm coming through both. I'm going to do this several times, maybe 5 or 8 times the whole way across.
Can you bring your hands down a little bit?
Okay. This last one, let me make sure I'm through the corner here and through this corner here. You know, maybe. Alright, now to finish crocheting, I cut this off, pull this through that, and pull it snug, and that knots it. You don't have to do an additional knot. Pull that tight. You see there is a ridge, but it really kind of doesn't matter because you're going to turn that inside out. That's going to be at the back of your head, and there's your headband. These tails you can tie in a bow, and tie in another knot, and then clip them short. Weave them through the mesh that you've just created. Okay, but there's your headband.